Let's talk about peace from a spiritual perspective in the context of war. The prophets of Israel were huge proponents and pioneers of a consciousness of peace, of a consciousness lo yisa goy al goy cherev velo yilimdu od milchama. Yeshayahu, Isaiah, says that in the Messianic era, no nation will lift up sword against another nation, and war will no longer be something to learn. There won't be any need for it. There won't be any need to study it and learn it. That's why the Rambam says, Gadol hashalom, shekol Torah nitna la'asos shalom. Great is peace, that the entire Torah was given, all of the Jewish path was given in order to create peace. But let's talk about when there is, God forbid, war as a necessity. Of course, there's just a spiritual response, which I just discussed yesterday about tefillin, putting on tefillin, being fully infused with God consciousness. The Lubavitcher Rebbe Zatzal created a mitzvah campaign of putting on tefillin just prior to the 6-day war. But the Rebbe says something about war itself. Standing strong brings peace, peace through strength. And what's the real meaning behind this? Yirmiyahu the prophet says the idea of shalom is a deception. As long as v'nega cherev ad hanefesh, as long as there's a sword threatening the soul. King David says, Chelku masmaos piv, his talk was smoother than butter. Ukrav libo raku, yet his heart was on war. Tvarav mishemen, vehema pischos. His words were soothing like oil, yet they were drawn swords. This has been the core problem in the Middle East. Peace cannot be achieved when enemies verbally declare and hold on to a narrative of toxicity, of destruction towards the state of Israel. Creates more instability. It keeps a hope alive of a toxic, destructive narrative that some way, somehow, the Jewish state will be destroyed. The whole Middle East will be Jew-free, as it is in almost every other place in the Middle East. And this is why strength through peace. King David says, Hashem oz le'amo yutein. Hashem gives his people strength. Hashem yivarech es amo v'shalom. Hashem will then bless his people with peace. You have that oz, and then you get to shalom. Because actually, in reality, shalom isn't the highest level. We want to get to a place where the whole world is connected in tefillah. Beit tefillah yikra l'chol amim. We want a real peace. We want something higher. Because in Judaism, obviously there's many different meanings to peace, but one of the meanings of peace isn't so lofty as the Ibn Ezra says. What's peace? Lo yiga becha ra. No harm, no evil will touch you. Lo me'even, lo machaya ra'a, velo ma'oyev. Not from a stone, not from an enemy, not from a wild animal. Peace is just the absence of that evil intent. We're not talking about this high bar of love that needs to happen, just an acceptance that the narrative doesn't work. As so many people have said, and I just heard Haviv Rekte Gur discuss, ideas can actually die. Sure, they might be held in the hearts and minds of people. People still might hate Israel. But the ideas behind these genocidal governments who seek Israel's destruction, but they have a narrative that they hold onto with hope because they're telling their people a story about how it's only a matter of time. Israel just destroyed the clock in Iran that talks about the countdown until Israel's destruction. Once you destroy the even hope that the story of the Jewish people will end in Israel, the idea might have some fringe benefit, but it will not be a policy anymore. And that's the hope for the Jewish people, to have Israel's not going anywhere. Hashem gave us, we're here, give up the narrative, and shalom will come.